I'm Melissa.
Hi, I'm Julian.
Hi, I'm Veronica.
Oh my. Hi, I'm Jenna.
Oh, I didn't see you there. My name is Megan.
So today, we're going to talk about holograms. They're not only used in the scientific field, but they're also used in the entertainment business.
Imagine you were able to see the concert of your favorite artist even though they were dead. According to an article from this year from Discover magazine, artists such as Tupac were able to have holographic concerts, and they're big in Japan and they're also big here in America, as bands like Gorillaz use holographic concerts all the time.
So today, we'll discuss the history of holograms and answer the question, what is a hologram?
And then we'll discuss the physics of holograms before conducting our own experiment, making a hologram using a CD case and an iPhone.
And finally, discuss the future of holograms.
So let's begin. What is a hologram? Well, have you ever looked on your license and in the background there's like a shiny pattern? Well, that's a hologram. A hologram is a flat surface that under proper illumination contains a 3D image. That's not the only hologram. Another type of hologram you might have heard about in the introduction. It's been in concerts and it's also been in movies such as Star Wars. It's a projected hologram, which projects a lifelike object as you can almost touch it. So, who invented the first hologram? Let's go back to the year 1947. Dennis Gabor, a Hungarian scientist, was the man who first invented the hologram. He was even awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for his invention and development of the holographic method. So, believe it or not, Dennis Gabor actually invented the first hologram by mistake. He was attempting to refine the design of the electron microscope. He decided to devise a new technique which he decided to test with a filtered light beam instead of an electron beam. The first type of hologram ever made was a transmission hologram, but how did Dennis Gabor actually make one? So, he carefully filtered his light source, but the process did not become practical until technology provided a way to produce coherent light that consists of a single frequency and a single wavelength, which wasn't invented until 1960 with the invention of the laser. As a laser generates light that is a single color or frequency and produces waves that travel in a phase with one another. So today there are three main types of holograms. One hologram would be the rainbow hologram, which you may have seen on credit cards, banknotes, because they change color depending on your viewing angle. And a reflection hologram, which are often seen in art galleries that display 3D images of an object when illuminated with a ray of white light. And the last hologram would be transmission holograms, which are created through a different process and can only be seen when a laser shines on the holographic plate. Holograms actually all work the same. They work by recording the interface patterns of light waves caused by the object and then recreate the scene when illuminated. So now that we know the history of holograms and the basics of how they work, let's get down to the nitty-gritty and learn the physics behind holograms.
So if we're going to look at the physics of holograms, let's look at where it all started, photography. With photography and holograms, they have one thing in common, which is how their photos work, light. But photography uses a different kind of light. It uses white light, and it passes to make a piece of film. And with photography, that is how the brain interprets light from a picture, and it is a representation of the original image, which is a virtual image. So what is a photograph exactly? It is a point-to-point recording of the intensity of light rays that make up an image. And in this way, it is the same thing as a hologram. So what are the two types of light that a photograph and a hologram different? Well, white light contains different wavelengths traveling in different directions at different speeds. But a laser light, which is used to make holograms, is only one wavelength and one color, and it travels, and the wavelengths travel in one phase. And with this information, we can see that we have to be at a specific angle to be able to see the hologram itself. So because a hologram needs an organized light of a laser to work, we can see that holograms need an amplitude and a phase. And this means that the light needs a focal point and a reference point. And I will be showing you this in today's presentation of lenses. So if we're going to be discussing the physics of holograms, let's go back to last year's physics class, to chapter 14, on our lenses unit. So there are two types of lenses involved in this physics. First is the converging lens, which is thicker in the middle and has an outward curve. Second is the diverging lens, which is thinner in the middle and used as a magnifying glass. But the thing about the diverging lens is that it only creates virtual images. But we will be looking at the converging lens because that is what's used in photography, which was the first form of holograms. So when looking at a converging lens and to create a virtual image, we need two things, and that's a focal point and an object. Now we can place the focal point wherever we want on the base, as long as the second focal point, which would be on the virtual side, is the same distance from the main focal point to the center of the lens. And then we must always remember to place the object between the main focal point and the lens if we want to create a virtual image. If we place it outside of the lens, we will end up with a real image. And that's not what we want in a hologram. So, and to create the virtual image, we need to make 3 lines that will line up and create our virtual image on the outside of the lens. So to start with the first line, we need to make sure that the focal point and the object are lined up. So you draw the first line to the top of the object, and then you move the line to the top of the object, and then you want to make sure that the object and the center and the bottom of the base are aligned, and draw a line through there to create your first line. Then, from there, you want to make sure that, again, that the focal point and the object are lined up, and make sure that the top is lined up as well. And so then you draw a line up there, and once you have that line, you just simply draw a line across to create your second line, which will cross with your first. And finally, pause for this one. And finally, you have to draw a line from the object to the center of the lens. And then, from there, you go to your virtual focal point and make sure there is a line going through the center of the lens and all the way on top to meet up and finally with your other 2 lines and finally make your virtual image, which will be on the same side, which shows that it is virtual, it is reflecting, and it is a lot larger than the original. Now I will conduct an experiment using my iPhone and a CD case.
do it the way I can't.
You see, dude, I see it way better from this angle. Here, come over to this angle.
Now we will look into how holograms are being used today and how they will be used tomorrow. Today, Holograms are mostly being used to prevent people from counterfeiting money, driver's license, and credit cards. Let's take a look into the future. One item that will soon be hitting the market is Windows' new HoloLens. It's a goggle-type object that users can wear on their face, of course, and they are able to interact with objects that they see through the lenses. They can pinch, pull, adjust, tap, flick images away, and learn to interact with these images on a day-to-day basis with 3D interaction. Take a look at this video.
Things. But what if we could go further? What if we could go beyond the screen? Where your digital world is blended with your real world. Now we can. This is the world with holograms. What will they enable us to do? New ways to visualize our work.
I have an idea for the fuel tank.
New ways to share ideas with each other.
How are things going your end?
I just put the images in OneDrive.
Perfect.
More immersive ways to play. New ways to teach and learn.
So put the new trap in the place of the old one.
Now what?
And tighten here and here.
New ways to collaborate and explore the places we've never been.
Look at this formation. Let's take a closer look.
And new ways to create the things we imagine. Because when you change the way you see the world, you can change the world you see. This is Microsoft HoloLens.
Another thing people can do is live in a holographic environment. By this I mean taking a video call to a whole new level. How about you sit down next to somebody that's in California while you're in New York and have a conversation? This creates a central simulated environment that will allow everyone to come together in one virtual room, and no one will have to leave their physical location. How does this work? The computer recognizes the presence and movements of people and objects. The computer tracks the images, and then the computer projects the images in a stereo immersive surface. Another cool invention of holograms is something that can actually help save your life. Surgeons nowadays, instead of using basic 2D MRI pictures, can convert those 2D images into 3D images, and for example, can examine your heart without even breaking your skin. Inside and out, they can see how your blood flows, how the blood's flowing, and where it's flowing. So if you have a hole in your heart, surgeons can stitch it up easy peasy.
So on our next installment, we're going to talk about the physics of the whip. So we'll see you on the next installment.
So let's begin. What is a hologram? A hologram is shit. Alright.
You're so strange. Oh, damn it! We'll be hitting the market fairly recently. The last technological advance that I will share with you today is the circuit bracelet.
Gosh, you're not even doing this like last.
So on our next installment, we're going to talk about the physics of the whip.